You know how some days just start off like any other, and by lunchtime you're somehow caught in the middle of a firestorm you didn't even see coming? Yeah, that was me last Tuesday. I was heading to the break room like usual, craving that sacred cup of coffee that keeps the chaos of the tech startup buzzing along. This place, it's a mid-sized operation in the city. Busy, a little chaotic, but nothing out of the ordinary. Or so I thought. So there I was, drifting toward the coffee machine and the humming fridge when I heard voices. Not just any voices, whispers. I'm not proud to admit it, but curiosity totally got the best of me. I mean, when you work in a place where everyone knows everyone else's business except for that one guy from accounting, Jack, you kinda notice when hushed tones start floating through the air. I nudged the door a little, just enough so I could catch a whiff of the conversation without being obvious. And then it hit me, there was something going on, something that wasn't supposed to be overheard. Someone was talking about Jack, yeah, Mr. Mysterious himself, and it wasn't the usual he keeps to himself gossip. No, it was juicier. They were talking about something that could change how we all see him. And honestly, it felt like I just stumbled onto the office's biggest secret by pure accident. I froze for a second, thinking maybe I should just back away and mind my own business. But then, the words popped into my head again, plain as day, and suddenly I was more awake than I'd been all morning. How did I end up there? Well, sometimes life just slips you the strangest curveballs. One minute you're a regular guy trying to keep up with the latest project updates, and the next, you're the unwitting center of an office mystery. The guy everyone might start asking about, wondering what he knows, who he told, and whether he's going to spill the beans. And that, my friends, is exactly where I was standing, with a cup of cold coffee in hand, realizing that this wasn't going to be just another ordinary day. So, what exactly did I hear? You bet I'm getting to that. But, first let me rewind a bit and give you the lowdown on how my everyday at this startup looks, who's who in this little office drama, and why Jack's silence has everyone's imaginations running wild. Because trust me, that part makes this whole mess even weirder. Alright, so picture this. I stroll into the office every morning around 9-ish. It's one of those mid-sized tech startups where the vibe is usually chill, with the usual buzz of keyboards clicking and Google Calendar alerts pinging in every now and then. Everyone's into their own thing, working hard but also sneaking in the occasional break that often turns into a mini social event, especially near the coffee machine, which, let's be honest, is basically the heart and soul of this place. Now, among the people I see every day, there are a few characters you just can't miss. Like Emma. Honestly, if the office had a mascot for bubbly energy, Emma would be it. She's this whirlwind of enthusiasm with a laugh that could fill the whole room. Our desks are pretty close, so we usually catch up on random stuff, whether it's the latest binge-worthy series or the weirdest thing someone said in the last team meeting. Emma's got this way of turning the dullest coffee break into a mini party. And yeah, she's kind of my go-to for any developing office drama, mostly because she knows a crazy amount of it herself. Then there's Lisa. She's a few desks over and the exact opposite of Emma in a lot of ways. If Emma is all sunshine and rainbows, Lisa is like, well, an overcast day with a sharp wit. She's got this sarcastic charm that keeps everyone grounded, especially me, since I tend to get carried away with office stories. Lisa's reliable, always ready with a reality check, or that deadpan comment that makes you realize you might be reading way too much into things. Honestly, without her, I'm pretty sure half my speculation would have gotten out of hand ages ago. And finally, Jack, the enigma of our little tribe. The guy from accounting who's practically made silence an art form. Nobody really knows much about him. He keeps to himself, nods politely when you pass by, and disappears into his little cubicle like a magician pulling off a vanishing act. But here's the thing, a silence like that? It breeds curiosity. And rumors. Lots of rumors. People say things like, have you noticed how Jack never joins lunch? Or did you see him that one time, the way he just vanished after that last company party? It's like he's the office equivalent of a locked treasure chest that no one's found the key to yet. So here's where things get interesting. Over the past couple of weeks, there's been this weird energy swirling through the office, an odd hush that falls whenever someone mentions Jack, or whenever a few of the usual suspects gather around, whispering nervously. No one really seemed to have solid info, just vague hints that something big was happening, something that involved Jack, but no one was quite willing to say out loud. I caught snippets here and there during my usual coffee runs. Half words, nervous glances, quick exits from conversations when I walked by. Emma was practically bouncing on her feet about it one afternoon, poking me, whispering, "You have to hear what I overheard near the printer. It's wild." Like, really wild. She's that kind of person who can't keep a secret even if her life depended on it, and her excitement only feeds the rumor mill. Lisa, on the other hand, gave me that raised eyebrow look when I mentioned it later, skeptical as ever. "You're getting carried away," she said, folding her arms. Remember, half of this office loves a good conspiracy theory more than the actual work they're supposed to be doing. Classic Lisa. But as things kept escalating behind the scenes, the silence around Jack felt heavier, not lighter. Like everyone sensed something was off, but no one could quite say what. It wasn't just idle gossip anymore. It felt like the calm before a storm no one wanted to admit was coming. That's when the invisible line between harmless curiosity and full-on office intrigue started to blur. Every time I passed Jack's death, I found myself wondering what the truth was. Was it some weird personal issue? What? Something serious? Or just another mystery no one at a startup should really care about but somehow ends up dominating the hallway chatter anyway? And in the middle of that swirl, there I was, caught between Emma's chatter, Lisa's skepticism, and the silent mystery that was Jack. Honestly, it almost felt like the office itself was holding its breath, waiting for someone to connect the dots or, well, to spill whatever was really going on. Little did I know that someone was about to become me. Maybe not by choice, and definitely not with the right set of facts, but hey, that's how these things usually start, doesn't it? A whisper here, a misunderstood phrase there, and suddenly you're the guy everyone turns to for the latest update, even if the only thing you're sure about is that you don't know much at all. So yeah, that was my normal. The coffee runs, the lunch banter, the little inside jokes with Emma and Lisa, only now sprinkled with this growing tension over Jack's secret, the one that no one wanted to name but everyone kind of felt looming over their keyboards. And with that slow building pressure hanging in the air, it was only a matter of time before some kind of spark set this whole thing off. But how? When? And what did I have to do with it? Guess that's exactly where the story is headed, but for now, all the pieces were just simmering, waiting for someone dumb or curious enough to poke the pot. Spoiler alert, that someone was about to be me. So there I was, stuck in the middle of this weird, swirling storm of whispers, half-truths, and wild guesses, all centered around Jack. I honestly didn't want to be the guy fueling the fire, but somehow, before I even realized it, I was the one walking around with tiny nuggets of half-remembered conversation stuck in my head. One afternoon, Emma spotted me by the coffee machine and grabbed my arm like I was the most interesting case she'd ever encountered. "Did you hear? Did you?" She practically bounced on her toes, her eyes sparkling. "I swear I caught a hint about Jack, maybe, not just being quiet because he likes it. I think it's something way bigger." I blinked, trying to keep pace with her rapid-fire whisper. "Like what?" "What do you mean, bigger?" Emma leaned in closer, as if the walls themselves might be listening. "Well, someone said Jack's been hiding something about his numbers, like some kind of accounting mess that could get our whole department in trouble." "Can you imagine?" She grinned, thrilled at the possibility. I felt this sinking feeling in my gut because, honestly, I had no clue what she was talking about. The bits and pieces I'd overheard were murky at best. But Emma's excitement was contagious, so instead of nipping the rumor in the bud, I ended up sharing what I thought I'd heard with a few people during casual hallway chats. That's when Lisa caught wind of it. She found me later at my desk, raising one eyebrow so high it was practically in her hairline. "You're spreading this without any proof, you know that, right?" she said, voice dripping with sarcasm. "We're programmers and analysts, not high school gossip kings. Maybe try not to be the office rumor mill for once?" I tried to explain that I was just passing along what I'd heard, but Lisa wasn't having it. "You're making mountains out of molehills. If Jack's messed up, it'll come out on its own. Your updates aren't helping, they're just stirring the pot." Her words stung. I hated being the guy stirring trouble, but by then, the seed was planted and it was sprouting fast. Every lunchtime, every casual comment, every sidelong glance started to feel like it was loaded with meaning. And then came the unexpected moment when Jack himself decided to break his silence. It was a grisly Tuesday afternoon. I was getting yet another cup of coffee when I felt a shadow fall over me. I turned around, and there he was. Jack, calm but with this intensity in his eyes that freaked me out a little. He didn't beat around the bush. "We need to talk," he said, voice low but firm. "What exactly have you been saying about me?" My mind scrambled. I stumbled over my words, trying to play it cool, but it was hopeless. I mean, just passing on stuff that's been floating around, I guess. I didn't think it was that serious." His glare didn't waver. "You have no idea how serious it is. Maybe you should have just kept your mouth shut." That hit me harder than I expected. Suddenly, all the pieces started to spin faster. The half-baked stories, the nervous whispers, Emma bouncing off the walls with her latest trial balloon version of what the secret might be. It wasn't just idle chatter anymore, it had become a powder keg. But things got even more tangled when I finally got to hear Jack's side, albeit indirectly. Turns out, the mysterious mess wasn't a mess at all. There was an ongoing audit, yes, but it was nothing shady. Instead, Jack had been working overtime to keep some freelance consulting gigs under wraps, stuff he didn't want the company to know about for fear of creating conflict. And of course, because Jack was Jack, he kept it all locked up tight, refusing to explain or clarify even when rumors started swirling. His silence only made everyone imagine worse scenarios, and here I was, unintentionally fanning those flames. Lisa's words echoed back to me, don't make mountains out of molehills. Except, in this case, the hill was barely there, and I'd helped turn it into a mountain. Emma's enthusiasm didn't just fuel the fire. Sometimes it felt like a full-on bonfire. Right then, standing in that break room with Jack watching me like I'd either betrayed a state secret or was about to cause an office meltdown, I realized things weren't about to calm down anytime soon. The weird tension was thickening all around us, and I was smack dab in the middle. I just hoped I wasn't about to become the person everyone blamed when this all blew up. The day everything came out felt strangely anticlimactic, honestly. I mean, after all the whispering and wandering looks, all the accidental dropping of half-truths and Emma's wild imagination, the big reveal was almost a letdown, but in a good way. Jack finally called a kind of all-hands meeting in the break room. Not exactly the usual spot for a sit-down like this, but hey, it fit the vibe of our startup. He started by clearing the air with this calm, matter-of-fact tone. Look, I know there's been a lot of talk, some of it pretty off the mark, so I wanted to just tell you what's really going on. The whole room, including Emma, who was practically vibrating with anticipation, and Lisa, arms crossed but looking interested, fell silent. Jack explained that his freelance side gigs weren't anything secret because they were bad or hiding anything shady, it was more about personal boundaries. I just needed something outside the company to keep myself sharp, challenge other parts of my skills, he said. I wasn't sneaking around to cause trouble. I thought if it didn't interfere with my work here, it shouldn't be an issue. He went on, admitting the audit had indeed been stressful, but it was a routine thing. And yeah, he had been quiet about the whole thing because, in his words, I'm not big on making a show out of personal stuff or letting it distract from the daily grind. Basically, Jack's idea of dealing with trouble is to tuck it away and handle it privately, and clearly it was leading to the worst kind of office mystery. That moment was awkward but sort of refreshing. Everyone leaned back, processing this glimpse behind the curtain. And Emma, bless her heart, tried to recover her usual bubbly self, joking, well, mystery solved, but way less scandalous than we imagined. Where's my popcorn, huh? Lisa smirked, shooting me a look that screamed, told you so, but I wasn't mad about it. Frankly, I felt a mix of relief and a bit of embarrassment. I'd gotten carried away, made a mountain out of a molehill, just like Lisa warned. But at least now, the air was clearer. Once the meeting broke up, the dynamics in the office shifted. The rumor mill slowed down, maybe because the main spokesguy for gossip was suddenly looking a bit sheepish. Jack started popping his head out of his cubicle more, even cracked a joke here and there, which honestly surprised everyone. Emma kept up her chatter, but the focus veered back to actual work and less to, what's Jack hiding now? I found myself thinking over and over about how easy it is to slip into these roles, especially in an office like ours where personalities clash and mingle in weird ways. The guy who shares a snippet becomes the source. The curious ones become the amplified megaphones. And before you know it, a whisper turns into a wildfire that's hard to put out. I can't say I'm totally immune to the office gossip scene now. I mean, who really is? But after that mess, I learned a bit more about the weight words can carry, how a little misunderstanding can spiral and catch everyone in its wake. So I made a kind of unofficial rule for myself, choose when to speak and when to just keep it zipped. At least most of the time. Though between you and me, in the back of my mind, I'm still sometimes tempted. You know, when the coffee's extra bad or Emma drops a particularly juicy tidbit, it's like my brain perks up, ready to jump back into the gossip game. But for now, I'm sticking to my new mantra. No more accidental gossip king. Let's just say my lips are mostly sealed until the next time some mystery strolls into the break room whispering my name.